All right, everyone, welcome to the midweek market wrap up with myself, Chartered Market Technician. We're going to go over crypto, FX, the underlying stock market, try to figure out what happened this day of the FOMC variety, and what we expect going into next week. So, without further ado, let's just grab into it. But while I'm setting things up here, make sure you go to statsedgetrading.com, sign up for the email list there because I'm building some cool things I think you guys will be interested in that I'm going to send out first to test for the email subscribers. Again, I don't sell your email, I don't give it to anyone. So go to statsedgetrading.com, make sure you're signing up for that email list. Now, let's get into it here. We're going to talk with Bitcoin. As usual, we're going to start with Bitcoin. A little bit of a rejection at these prior highs that I've highlighted right up in this area right here. You can see multiple highs. We've come back up. If we hit this and break down, and that's a big if, right? I'm not calling for that, but that does kind of turn into a shoulder, a head, and then a right shoulder. However, I kind of hate calling head and shoulders that early. So a lot of action has to happen before that's taken place. For now, we're just getting a bit of a rest here. What's interesting, if you go into Ethereum, relative weakness to Ethereum. So we've seen this kind of flip back and forth quite a bit where Bitcoin, right after the launch of the ETF, was really relatively weak to Ethereum. Basically, meaning Bitcoin was moving lower, Ethereum was holding on and doing okay. We've also noticed that before this ETF launch, Bitcoin was really outperforming, and it looks like that switch is coming in, and Bitcoin is, at least for now, outperforming again with some relative weakness in Ethereum. Even to the point where I, full disclosure, am short a little bit of Ethereum right now. After this topping tail right here, I got in, so I'm only up a little bit on it, but I got in right under the low of this candle. But what I'm looking at is a potential bear flag here, and a break of that bear flag could take us to these lows, and then if we get through those lows, things could get pretty wild. So I am looking at that. Again, tight stops as always. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it is interesting to see that this flip anyway is going on with Bitcoin and Ethereum kind of trading blows on which one is better. A quick look here at the Dixie continues to kind of chop around here. So we have a lot of kind of choppy action. I'm long pound, which I'll show you, versus this, just because, again, we've seen a lot of choppy action. These bottoming tails right here make me think we're actually going to resolve higher. That, generally speaking, is going to be bearish for stocks. Generally speaking, if over the last few years anyway, you want to see the dollar move down, stocks will move up, vice versa. So this dollar is chart, to me, is something that I'm focusing on a lot. I think it's the most important chart out there right now when it comes to what it is that we're gonna see going forward, because it's more of a tell of, are people moving into cash? Are they not moving into cash? What's happening there? Aussie yen, I talked about how I was looking short against this area. I'll always be truthful with you guys. I was short in through here. During this day, I broke a trading rule, and this has happened sometimes. I looked at these candles intraday. It had spiked down a lot. Let's go to I can show you a little bit further. We all like my foibles. Not going to claim to be a perfect trader. Yeah, we had this push down, and I was short throughout this. It came all the way back up to my break even. I punched out break even, and then this happened. So a little bit upset for about that, but it's the way it goes. We're breaking this downtrend line. I'm going to look for a place to re-engage if we get any kind of a bounce or sideways action that I can take a short off of. I'm going to, but it does look like we're breaking down. The reason this level is so important is you can see these highs right here over and over and over again. So the fact that we couldn't break that high, and now we're failing, and we're failing on increased normal volume, again, to me, and not the kind of action I would want to see if I'm long. Other one I want to look at here is just gold. So XAU, we'll look at gold here. Same, a lot of rejections going on here, both ways, right? I showed you that gold is rejecting higher, the dollar is rejecting higher. Aussie yen is rejecting lower. And this, we're seeing a rejection as well, where we had a nice run in the end of the day and then a topping tail here. So I am Currently flat on gold. I'm not really looking to short because we have this big area of resistance that I've drawn in and this anchored VWAP below. But I want to see a stronger candle in order to be long gold. Now, let's go and take a look at the underlying market. I'm going to move a little bit because this is my heat map. And again, you can set these up in Trade Ideas. If you're interested in that, there is a discount code for Trade Ideas over at stats.trading.com. You can check that out. That helps support the channel. But this is my watch list of what I'm looking at for the sector point of view and a heat map from it. And if you notice, there is a lot of red and only one thing green, and that's bonds. So disconnect between stocks and bonds today, which is interesting. It's a little bit more normal. It's not something we've seen over a long period of time, so that normalcy certainly could be returning. But we're seeing a pull down here in oil. I was watching oil. I talked about on, I think, the weekend. It's basing here, broke down. So if it doesn't recover this soon and push higher, then I may have to abandon my thoughts on oil, but I'm really looking for this to break in order to get involved in oil. If we go to the overall market, what we saw in the S&P 500, we saw a gap down, a lot of chop into FOMC and a continuation. I talked about how we were seeing a negative RSI divergence and some of these things that were occurring that were making me a little bit nervous before. That looks like that's what's resolving now. I'm not freaking out or running for the hills or anything like that. You're not going to see a shocked face on this YouTube thumbnail with fire in the background or anything like that. We're up. We're up significantly. So pullbacks, rests are common. So we're down 1.5%, right? So just, everyone chill. Now, if we come back down to somewhere in this level where we broke out from, call it the 475-ish area, that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see a pullback and I want to see a hold of that area and then some sort of continuation higher. So I talked about some short setups that I was interested in. A lot of these short setups are coming to fruition. If we look at Yelp, that's one that I did get involved in today. The idea of Yelp here, I got to be out soon because they have earnings. So this is going to be a short one. But the idea was we have this anchored VWAP from this prior high, and we were struggling to get over that. So when I saw the markets kind of pulling back, falling apart a little bit, I did hit a short here on Yelp and a couple other names. But that's what I'm looking for. I don't have really any stocks to add right now. I want to see the market evolve a little bit more. What I may do tomorrow, so again, make sure you're liking and following and subscribing wherever you're seeing this so you don't miss that. And go to stats.trading.com, sign up for the email list because I'll always email people. Tomorrow, I want to see the action tomorrow. Do we sell off more? Do we find a little bit of a base? Do we just reverse this entirely? Who knows? I want to see tomorrow's action, and then I'll look and I'll maybe do a short 1-minute video on a couple names that I'm interested in. So if you want to see more of that, again, make sure you're following wherever you're seeing this. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys soon.